Hello everyone, I apologize for the delay in this video, but I had a week. And that's all I'm gonna say, but I had a hell of a week. But I wanted to get this video out to you guys. Unfortunately, I couldn't start the Wrestlemania live streams this weekend like I originally wanted. Those will start next weekend, and it's gonna be divided into 5 parts. I have, however, made a executive decision in regards to the live streams, and that is I will not be watching John Cena versus Triple H from Wrestlemania 22. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you guys. That was the one you voted for, and I'm going to be fair. I'm just kidding. But what I am going to do, my original plan was to watch him chronologically, and looking at the selections that you guys picked from some of the later WrestleManias, I was like, man, I'm going to get tortured on some of those later ones. So to spare me, what I have decided to do is to randomize the order of the WrestleManias that I would be watching. A schedule is actually posted in the description for this video. So if there's specific WrestleMania matches that you wanted me to watch, you'll know which part of the video live stream series are going to be on. So that schedule will be posted in the description of this video, and that's basically my update for the Wrestlemania live streams. So they are coming, I promise. They couldn't start this weekend like I originally wanted because of fucking reasons, but they will be coming, I promise. So with all that said, let's get into some news and notes that are the main reasons for me wanting to make this video. Some major things happening in pro wrestling, mainly on the AEW front. They recently had a press conference where they announced a few more things for Double or Nothing, made a few more roster announcements. The Lucha Brothers are official, which I guess, I mean, and this is becoming more and more clear as we get more and more news about the future of Lucha Underground. That show is basically dead at this point, which is unfortunate, but the contract structure of that show, if King Cuerno is to be believed, and Ivelisse is to be believed, and some of the wacky situations that were going on with the contracts. I know Prince Puma, Ricochet had issues as well before he left. I guess this isn't a surprise. It was just bound to kill it, kind of like eat itself. I don't know. From what I heard, the real issue is that Lucha Underground didn't offer wrestling contracts. They offered TV contracts. And there was like an exclusivity issue where guys weren't allowed to work anywhere else as long as they were contracted to Lucha Underground, which is fucking impossible because there's such long hiatuses in between seasons. So probably not really well thought out. It's probably going to mean that with AEW coming up, guys are leaving, guys want out, guys are suing to get out. It's like, yeah, Lucha Underground's dead. I don't count on getting a season 5 is my prediction. If we do, it's going to probably suck because they're going to lose a lot of guys. But them's the breaks. But AEW seems to be the most exciting thing in pro wrestling right now with all the things that are on the horizon. And the biggest thing that came out of the press conference is that it is official. All Elite Wrestling has signed the big match machine, the big bout machine. I think I keep fucking that up, but Kenny Omega is going to AEW. That is awesome in not only a wrestling capacity, but in an executive producer role, very similar to Cody and the Bucks. So he's going to have a significant amount of creative control within the company, which is probably, as he indicated himself, one of the major reasons he chose AEW over WWE, where he would never have that level of control over anything that he would do on screen. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Kenny was the hottest free agent in wrestling, so that's huge news for AEW. I think we all kind of figured he was going to go there, but to have it confirmed is like, okay, they got Kenny. Great. It's another brick in the wall into potentially building AEW into something special. Now, this makes Double or Nothing even more exciting. I mean, that Double or Nothing right now is looking like the most interesting show of the year. Just to see, it's like, alright, this isn't just like All In where it's a bunch of guys wanting to prove they can sell out a 10,000 seat arena. This is going to be like the genesis of hopefully something special. And so far it's looking like a match is announced. We've got Hangman Page versus Pac, Adrian Neville, for those of you who don't know. And it's like, oh my god, that's a solid one right off the bat. Also, matches we're also having SoCal Uncensored in a 6-man tag. That's going to be good. We're also, the two big ones, looks like the two main events. It's been teased that we're going to get the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers, which that's going to be a wild tag match if we get it. And it's pretty much all but certain that Chris Jericho is going to face Kenny Omega. Their big rematch is going to happen at Double or Nothing. So Double or Nothing is looking like a can't-miss show, and AEW is really doing everything they can to generate buzz and generate interest for this new brand and whatever they deliver as far as a wrestling show goes. Now, what I'm seeing from All Elite Wrestling right now, and what they're building up, and what we've been exposed to so far, for me, it's really exciting to see this again, to have this level of intrigue and interest in a wrestling company. And I hope, and look, I don't need them to beat WWE. I don't need them to, you know, be like this, be on WWE's level necessarily, but I would like a really solid number 2. And the major positive I'm seeing right off the bat is that, you know, with all the talk of guys like the Revival wanting to move over and guys like Dean Ambrose leaving after WrestleMania, is that the case? I don't know. I'm not fully convinced that that's not a work yet. We'll find out after WrestleMania, I guess. But, you know, the good news about situations like that is that it gives the guys, the performers, it gives them leverage. And they're able to go out and get what they think they're worth and hopefully prove that they're deserving of what they think they're worth. You know, and that was the major positive of having a WCW. If things didn't work out in WWF, you go over to WCW. If you were misused in WWF or you had a falling out with Vince, you had somewhere else you could go and you could build a solid career for yourself. And once you lost WCW, that kind of went away, and it kind of became the system where it's like you take what WWE gives you or you're just shit out of luck. And in recent years, we're getting more and more examples of guys that have built a brand for themselves. Guys like Cody, guys like the Bucks, guys like even Zack Sabre Jr., who turned down a contract with WWE after the Cruiserweight Classic because he felt he could do better, you know, he can make more money doing what he does right now. And that's awesome to me, that they don't have to feel handcuffed to WWE, their system, and their creative, which is highly suspect at best. To put it nicely, their creative is highly suspect. Granted, you know, you look at someone like AJ Styles. AJ Styles largely has been treated well by WWE. Not all of his matches have been winners. I would argue, like, the worst things that creative have done with AJ has been like situations like you saw at the Royal Rumble, where he's putting in a half-hour-long world title match right after a Royal Rumble match that went an hour. I mean, that's like setting them up to fail almost in that specific situation. But as far as presentation goes and treating AJ like a top star, I feel like WWE has done that. Unfortunately, AJ is more the exception and not the rule. Guys like Finn Balor have kind of been jerked around. Even their own creations, like Bray Wyatt, has been, you know, chewed up, spat out, and chewed up and spat out again. I mean, I could talk for hours and hours and hours about how they fucked up Bray Wyatt. And that's the case for a lot of guys. And now, you know, there's a solid number 2 to go to. Hopefully, if everything with AEW goes according to plan, there's a solid number 2 that they can go to and hopefully make a name for themselves. And, you know, with all the talks in AEW, they don't want bookers, or they don't want writers or creative, they want bookers. And they want to let the guys come up with their own stuff. And I'm like, that's the way wrestling should be. The guys should be allowed to come up with their own material, have input on their own characters and what they say and how they act. And it's sink or swim. They could go out there, come up with their own stuff, and fall flat on their face. But I also think, like, true creativity in wrestling comes from the guys themselves, because nobody understands the characters better than the guys performing them. And that's probably more true of professional wrestling than any other art form in the world. Like, no writer can get inside Jake the Snake Roberts' head and make that character work as well as Jake did. Jake understood that character, that persona, better than anybody. And I guarantee you, most of the material he worked with was him. I guarantee it, especially on the microphone. because that's just the type of performer Jake was. And to have something like that again in AEW would be very exciting, and I think would make the show overall better. And I think Kenny Omega is a huge pickup for them. That is great news. Good stuff. And yeah, let's just keep the train going. Let's just keep AEW running, man. Let's just see what other good things we can get out of this. Now, again, I talked about Lucha Underground. I also think Impact kind of falls in that as well, where if AEW comes out and does really well, is that going to basically kill Impact? Probably. I think Ring of Honor will be fine. I think a lot of the more long-lasting indie feds will be fine. Ring of Honor, I mean, they've lost their top stars like a million times, and they've got a pretty solid system in place. But Impact, we know where they are right now. Lucha, we know where they are right now. But so AEW is probably gonna, if not be the death nail, it's gonna like put a lot of strain on those shows being able to continue. But if we get something really great out of it as a result, I guess that's for the best. And again, we'll know everything, I guess, by Double or Nothing. But that show's looking very exciting right now, and I really want to see what they deliver in it. I'm looking forward to more and more great news coming out of AEW. Again, if we can get a really solid, viable number 2, I am fully in favor of that. No question. So, other news and notes I wanted to talk about, a couple of things. So, there's a lot of speculation going on right now that The Undertaker is no longer with WWE because he's removed references to the WWE on his social media and is currently advertising or charging for appearances outside of the WWE sphere, where he's charging what can best be described as a boatload. I won't give the exact number, but what he's charging is like, wow, dude, really? Okay. But, you know, hey, if anybody wants to pay it, I guess that's up to them. But, I kind of wouldn't read too much into it. Undertaker, to me, is a WWE brand and like just a WWE icon. I highly doubt that he would be doing something outside of the WWE sphere without Vince's approval or without some kind of an agreement with Vince. And there's talks that there's no plan for him at WrestleMania, to which I say good. Because that's the other part of that. It's like they're gonna have to move on from Undertaker eventually. You got to. I've been saying it for years that Undertaker needs to retire. And, you know, when I hear they don't have a plan for him at WrestleMania, which I feel like I've heard that rumor in past years before, so I'll believe it when I see it come WrestleMania time. But he'll probably work with Cena again. Who the fuck knows? But it's, you know, the reliance on Undertaker got to such a high degree and with diminishing skills that were painfully obvious to everyone that was watching. Some people may not want to be honest about the diminishing skills, but when you watch things like his recent Mania matches and supposedly the tag match at Crown Jewel, which I didn't see, that was supposedly, no, was it Crown Jewel or Super Showdown? I don't even remember. No, Super Showdown was the match for Triple H, which was not great either, but it's, I'm getting my shitty Undertaker matches screwed up. But anyway, I didn't see the tag match with Brothers of Destruction versus DX, but I heard it was lousy. And pretty much everybody said it was lousy. So, you know, I don't feel like you should be relying on Undertaker anymore at this point. So if they're moving on past him, I think that's not necessarily for the best in the short term, but in the long term, it's like, look, you got to start building some people up because, good God Almighty, you can't keep relying on the Attitude Era to bail you out. And you know, but I don't think Taker's gone. I just don't. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. But it would be very interesting if he was. Now, obviously, that starts speculation. Would he go to AEW? No. That's not going to happen. Because, you know, for one thing, he can't take the name Undertaker with him, I don't believe, which would severely cripple his market value to any other wrestling company. But, again, we'll see. We shall see. So there's that. I also wanted to talk about a thing that happened way back at TakeOver. I did not talk about it because to me it was such a non-issue. I didn't think it was worth talking about. But people are still talking about it with people like Mark Henry chiming in. I was like, well, fuck, I better say something because just to kind of give my 2 cents on it, and that's the situation between Sam Roberts and Bianca Belair. On the TakeOver pre-show, which I didn't see, to be honest, Sam Roberts was asked about the women's title match that was happening on that TakeOver, which was Bianca Belair challenging Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title. And apparently, not apparently, he did. He made comments that painted Bianca in a not very good light, and that he didn't believe in her and didn't believe she deserved the spot. And this created a bit of a shitstorm with some people online, where it's like, oh my god, is he shooting? Is this part of the storyline? If he's being truthful, why would he say that? That's disrespectful. He owes Bianca an apology, blah, 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 blah. And this whole story just makes me pine for the good old days when Bobby Heenan would say whatever the fuck he wanted to take the piss out of the babyfaces, and everyone just kind of accepted it as part of the show. But this, if he was being truthful and he was shooting, I don't care, because it's like, look, he was asked to give an opinion, he gave an opinion, and to me, it makes the show feel more organic and real. Because if, you know, you talk like, oh, I respect so-and-so, and that's all you say about anybody, so that's not fun. But, you know, if he gives his honest opinion, look, I don't believe in this girl, okay, great. It's like, it adds an extra layer to the story. Adds an extra layer to Sam Roberts as a potential personality on the show. It puts some sizzle on the steak. I don't mind a little sizzle on the steak. And if it was scripted, okay, fine, even better. Like, you came up with something that made the show more interesting. So, I don't know. To me, it's such a non-issue, and the fact that anybody would have a problem with it, I'm like, guys, it's just, can we just accept it as part of the show and just keep going? And the talk that, you know, he should apologize to Bianca, I'm like, why? It's just, he's asked to give an opinion, you know. Skip Bayless gives opinions I don't like all the fucking time. It's his job. I mean, it's, you know, come on. Can we have one fucking abrasive personality on the WWE? I mean, among the announcers that isn't just a shill for the company? Jesus. I don't know. To me, and if, honestly, I don't think I've heard Bianca really comment on it, to be perfectly honest. I haven't heard her response to it, but if it bothered her that he said that, it's like all the more reason to go out there and prove him wrong. Problem solved. I don't know. To me, it's like this would get any headlines at all. The fact that I'm even talking about it, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. But I'm just like, man, this is such a non-issue. I can't believe that this is coming up in discussion. But I guess that's where we are right now. But yeah, that concludes everything I have for you in this video. All Elite Wrestling, get some thumbs up. It continues to be very exciting. I just hope they start delivering once it comes time to start doing shows. Hopefully they're able to deliver a really solid product, because right now I think things are looking pretty good, and it's pretty exciting right now. But again, we shall see. And the WrestleMania live streams will kick off next weekend. Hopefully you all enjoy that. But that is all I have for you now. So y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will have more videos for you up next week. So stay tuned for more.